All right, so now I'm going to do a quick overview of how to use the template and how to use Showit. Under this video, I'm going to link Showit's actual official tutorials. They will go a lot more in depth. If you're super new, you may want to check these out because I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I'm just going to give you kind of an idea of how it works. Alrighty, but so now you're here. You've got your pages over here on the left. You have about, pricing, contact. Under blog templates, you have home, blog, and single post. These are separate and because they're connected to WordPress, which I will explain later, but just be aware that those are also pages that you have. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is click home because I'm gonna start with editing the home page. Down here, you have the option to show mobile and desktop, mobile only or desktop only. I usually leave it at desktop only. I just think it's easier to see and then go back and do mobile later, but it's up to you. Here you can zoom in, zoom out. And here you have an undo and a redo button. All right, so starting off with editing, when you scroll down this, you will see when you hover over any of the sections, you get that blue button in the middle, which will let you edit. If you go over to page up here, you have all your sections together as well. If you click them, you will get into the editor as well. Okay, so starting with menu, this is the menu on your homepage. So if you click that logo, go to image on the right and swap image. That's how you would change that. If you click on any of the links, click on a text box, you will see here you can change the font color. It will by default take the paragraph font that you set in your design settings, but if you wanted it to be something else, you can do that here. Sizes, all that you can do. If you go to click actions, that is where your link is, so it's connected to your home page. Link type is page, and you can also do URL and paste a URL in there, but I'm going to leave it at page and connect it to home. Okay, and clicking through all of them, you will see the same thing. Each one links to a page. The one exception is if you click about, it is a URL that goes to /about. And the reason for that is if you go back to your homepage and actually go over to site on the left here, your homepage is actually in WordPress, which means that Showit technically sees your about page as your homepage. So if you were to link to your about page, it would by default take it to the base URL, so it would just be the homepage. So basically the about page, you can see that little house there, it's set as your homepage in Showit. Don't worry, because when you go to your URL, the homepage will be correct if it's connected to WordPress, but when you're linking the about page, just make sure you're doing a URL instead of a page. Okay. So that is that. If you are typing and one of your links ends up being longer, so you have a really long link, and you wanted them to be on the same line, all you have to do is click and drag the text box. You can do the corners, you can do any of the sides or the top or bottom, and just click and drag that to make sure that your text is all contained. All right. And then if you change up any of these links, you may end up with these being out of alignment. So what you can do there is highlight all of them by clicking and dragging, and it will give you these alignment options. So you can align to group. So if you choose this one, they will align at the top. This one, they'll align at center, bottom, left, and so on. So I'm going to align them at the top. And then here in Align to Canvas, you can choose to center it. All right, and then distribute will make sure that they're evenly spaced out. This one spaces them horizontally, this one spaces them vertically. All right, so going back to my home page, Hero is the next section, so I'm going to click in there. Here on the left, if you're not familiar with Showit if you're not familiar with Showit, it works a similar way as Photoshop does, if you know how that works. Basically, you have these layers, and the ones that are on top are on top of the other layers. So if I was to move this Illustrator photographer layer down, it would end up behind the photo, and you wouldn't see it anymore. So just make sure when you're doing that, your layers are in the right order. These are named according to what is on your screen. So if you click anything on the left here, it will highlight what's on the screen. If you click anything on the screen, it will highlight it on the left. So to edit your text, all you have to do is double click and type in here. And there you go. You can change the size of your text boxes to make it smaller or bigger. Go to size and position on the right, and you can center to canvas there, either horizontally or vertically. So you do that to move it back to center. For your buttons, they are all basically a button background, which is that rectangle, and a text box, which is on top. So to connect your buttons, you just click on the text box, go to Click Actions, and it will link Page, Contact. All right, be careful with this because the background is also linked to the contact page, because I wanted, if someone is hovering over the button but they're not like quite on the text, I wanted it to still link there. So make sure if you're changing any of them that you do both. All right, if you click on this background photo, you will notice that overlay gets selected. The overlay is basically a black rectangle that goes over top the photos because just to like make the text pop. So if you go down here to Effects, you can change the opacity. If you want to delete it, you can just click on it and click Delete. Okay, and then you'll be able to click on the photo, or if you just click it in over here on the left, you can click Photo. All right, so here you'll see the different canvas views. If you scroll through them, you will see different slides. Okay, so going back to view 1, anything that's in a folder is a canvas view. Anything outside of it is gonna show up in all of them. So let's say I wanted to change this photo. I would click Photo, go to Image, Swap Image, and put my photo in there. All right, and if you wanted to have only 3 slides, for example, you can just delete 4 and 5 by clicking these 3 dots next to it and going to delete. Okay, so now you only have 3, but this here at the bottom says that you have like out of 5. So what you can do is click on that text box. Sorry if you can hear that, I am dog sitting and she's being loud. So just click on that and replace it with 0, 3. And then the top number is going to be in each separate canvas view. So I'm going to leave that at 3. If I go to view 2, 02 is fine. Go to view 1, 01 is fine. Now if you wanted to add another slide, you can just click one of the canvas views, click the 3 dots and duplicate, and you will have a 4th one. Click the 3 dots again and rename it. I'm just going to call it 4. And then you can just go in and change those numbers to have 4 on the bottom and 4 on the top. All right, so scrolling down to your next section, this is your About section. Everything from here on out is pretty simple. You just click on a photo to replace it. If you click on this background color, it's just a rectangle behind your photo. So if you go over to the right and click Color, you will have your color palette right here, so you can select it and change the color easily like that. Click on a text box and you will have the option to change that color as well as the fonts, sizes, and everything in here. All right, so these two are 2 separate text boxes. So if you change the fonts or the sizes, they might be out of alignment. All you have to do to move things around and show it is click and drag. All right, you can also just use the arrows on your keyboard if you want to move it like a teeny bit. And also you can use the alignment options to automatically put things where they need to be. All right, and if you select multiple things, you'll get the Align to Canvas option, so you can align the whole thing to your canvas and align to group. All right, so clicking into this cursive, that is a text box as well. So all you do is highlight the text and replace it with whatever you want. Okay, if you click the background, like just the background color, you'll go over here and it says Canvas. So down here in Canvas background, you can change that color too. Change the background. There you go, to whatever you want. Buttons, go to Click Actions to link those. And I'm gonna keep going. Here we just have buttons, text boxes. This yellow one is a rectangle, so if you click on it and go to Shape Style, you can change that color as well. This line is an image file, So there's going to be another video about how to change that color if you want to, but I'll talk about that later. All right, and scrolling down, we just have photos and text here. Okay, so this is your on the blog section. So these are going to come from WordPress. So if your WordPress isn't connected yet, go to connect your domain, custom domain, edit, and you're going to choose yours. And over in blog, you're going to put that domain as well. And then the people that show it will connect it for you. So I'm going to go to the WordPress admin panel. It's just going to be your URL /wp-admin. Okay, and this is WordPress. The login is going to be the same as what you used for Showit. If you go to pages, first thing you're going to do is make sure you have a home and a blog page, and both of them should say post page and front page. If they do not, what you're going to do is click add new and just put in home and make sure your URL slug is home. And then you're going to do the same thing for the about page. All right, so just add those two if they aren't there yet. Then go over to appearance, customize. Now go to homepage settings, choose a static page. Homepage should be home, posts page should be blog. All right, so just save your work and go back. And now your homepage will be the correct page. So going over to posts, this is where you're going to make your blog posts. So all of these will show up in here. So to add one, you click add new. You have a title. This is where you put your content. And go over to the right here, click post. Here, you're going to choose a category. If you are just starting your blog, go to add new category and put whatever you want. Make sure to always choose one because that is what's going to show up right there. Otherwise, it will be empty and you'll just have a white square or rectangle in the back. If you choose more than one, the text will overflow and it'll look weird. So just make sure you're adding one category to all your posts. Featured images right here, go to set featured image and upload your photo there. All right, after you hit publish, it will show up there and you're gonna have your posts here on the blog. In the editor, they may not show up, but when you go to your website, the URL, you can see them there to double check, so don't worry if they're not showing up here. Okay, so in this section, you have different canvas views as well, because it needs to do individual posts. Instead of having the same one 4 times, it's going to show the most recent 4 posts. So if you go through them, you'll see the same thing, just in different positions. One thing to be careful of, if you're in Canvas View 1 and you move this over, when they are all aligned, they're gonna look, or when they're all showing on your website, they're gonna be out of alignment because you moved to that one. So anything you do in Canvas View 1, I would recommend also doing in the rest of them, if that makes sense, just to keep things aligned and even. Okay, so if you find that your blog titles are longer, you can click this here and go to text style, change the size. Like if it's not fitting onto that yellow background, you can change the size to make it smaller if you like to use long blog titles. Or you can click on that yellow rectangle and extend this down to make it longer. Then go to size and position. Here you'll see width and height. So if you do that, I would just copy the height, go to view 2, and paste the height in there, and do the same thing. If you change the font size to for all of them. Just keep things consistent. All right, now going down, this is your testimonials. I'm going to click that. Same thing here, you got different canvas views. So view 1, if none of the canvas views are selected, you're going to see nothing. So if that's happening, just click any of the folders. Okay, so here in Canvas View 1, you can click this photo to replace it. Just click swap image. You can click this testimonials text to replace that. Paste your testimonial, okay, and here change the name. So one thing to be careful of here, just like in the other section, don't move things around in the canvas view, because say you move the name over here and you put it like there, then when you click view 2, it's going to be jumpy and it's going to look kind of strange. So what I would recommend is leaving everything exactly where it is, just swap it out. But the testimonials, just replace the text. If it ends up being a lot longer, you can change the size of this text box and move things down that way. If you do make changes, the easiest way to handle that is to just delete Canvas View 2. And when you're done editing Canvas View 1 to be the way that you like it, click those 3 dots and duplicate it so that you have the same thing. Then just go ahead and customize that one and duplicate it again, and just keep doing that so that they're all the same. And you can delete them as well if you don't need them. All right, so just go through, change your photos. If you click the arrows in icon settings, you can change that color as well. In icon chooser, you can also choose a different icon. So they have like different types of arrows over here. So you can do that. And yeah, so going down, this is the featured section. So here you just got text boxes and your like logos or badges. So if you click one, just swap image. If you go to click actions, you can add a link. One thing to note about this Showit editor is that things will look a lot more condensed here than they will on your actual website. So if I go to like my demo, if I go here, you can see that like this is not all the way to the left like it is in the editor here, because the editor screen is smaller than most actual computer screens. So don't worry if things look a little bit strange there. All right, going into your footer, if you click edit, one thing to be aware of is that I'm going to click back to homepage. Here, any section that has those lines behind it, that section is a site canvas, which means if you change it, it will change on every single page. So your footer, for example, shows up on every page. So if I was to change something here, it would change on every page. So yeah. Clicking in here to edit these links, you're not going to use click actions because this is all one text box. So instead you're going to highlight the individual words, highlight it, click this hyperlink, and you can change the link that way. You can change the text by just highlighting it, typing, and highlight it again, and then you can change the URL to whatever you need. All right, and over here you have your social links. So just click one, change the URL here, and click actions. If you wanted to delete one, say you delete this one. Now you can see that there is a big gap right there. So what you can do is click these and move them over. And when you get them roughly where you want them, just select everything and align to group, and then distribute so that they're all evenly spaced. If you click one, you can also go to icon chooser and replace it that way. All right, I know this is going pretty fast, so feel free to pause whenever and refer also to the Showit tutorials if you're like totally lost. Okay, so that is your homepage. Going back, I'm gonna go over to site on the left here, go to your about page. So you'll notice on the homepage, your menu is white. On the about page, it's black. Those are two different site canvases. So like, for example, I changed the about link. It says about on this one, but then the black one, it didn't change. So you're gonna need to do the same thing to this one because it won't change automatically. So going down, there are just photos and text, which we've gone over. So if you click edit in this intro, you just click the photos to swap them out, do the text. One thing that happens on almost every page is at the top here, you'll see this like rectangle poking out. If you click it and go to page, it's called a rectangle for BG. That basically is just because the background of the header is white, and I wanted to make it that color without changing it on every page. So that rectangle is just a little like sneaky way to change the background color. So if you notice that, don't delete it. It is there on purpose. Scrolling down, this is just text as well. Travel schedule. If you go into that one, this is Canvas views as well. So if you want to make changes in how things are positioned, like change the number of months that show up, I would recommend just deleting all but one of them, edit one, and then just duplicate it so that everything is aligned. All right, going back to site, I'm gonna go to the blog page. This will automatically import your blog posts right here. So you don't need to worry about this section. That one is Canvas views as well. This welcome section, you can swap out the photos and change the text. Under browse by category, you've got these categories. So if you need to change these, click weddings, for example, and go to click actions, and it has the link to wedding. That comes from your WordPress site. So here, when you made the categories, these are the ones that you're going to use. So if I wanted to link to couples, I would, copy and paste couples, or just write it and put it at the end. So /category/ whatever category you want it to be. And if you want to change the text, you just highlight it and change the text. All right, and you can do that for all of them. Now going to the single post page down here, this is what it's going to look like when people click one of your posts. So this is just one of them. This will automatically take your featured image and automatically take the title, the links, or the category, the date, and all that, and put it in here. And this will automatically take your post content. So if you want to edit this one at the top here, this one has an overlay as well. So that's that black rectangle. So if you want to change the opacity, go to effects and change it, or delete it if you don't like it. All right, and going back to site, I am now going to go to my pricing page. So here, click investment. You've just got text boxes and whatnot. Here in the jump to pricing section, in click actions, it links to a canvas. So a canvas is basically each individual section. So go to page. These are all canvases. So investment, how it works, elopement pricing, wedding pricing, those are your canvases. So this one links to elopements. So if you are on your actual website and you click elopements, it's gonna scroll to the elopement pricing. So if you change the name of this elopement canvas to something else, make sure to go back up and change the link, because the name will affect that link. All right, so yeah, here you're just doing photos and text. In the steps, you've got a circle behind your numbers. You can just change the color of that the same way you do anything else. And scrolling down, you have canvas views here as well. So if I click view 2, it goes there. View 3, it goes there. So just like everything else, try to keep things aligned so that when you're on the pricing page, it goes smoothly and it's not jumping all over. Okay, if you need to delete one of the canvas views, like say you only have 2 elopement packages that you want to include there, if you delete it, you're still going to have 3 numbers in both view 1 and view 2. So you would just make sure to delete it and then go to view 2 and delete that 3 as well. All right, and same thing for the rest of these. Here you just have a little about section. This is another testimonial section. It does not automatically change with the homepage one, so you can do separate testimonials here if you want to, like just choose a few that you want here, or you can do the same ones from the homepage, up to you. Okay, now going back to site, I'm gonna go to contact, and here is your contact page. So if you click form, this here is your contact form. Go to page. So this one is a little bit confusing. The actual form, you've got your name, which is that header. Then you got name input, which is this. And the input is where people can type. So if you go to your contact page, right there, you're going to type. And that's for, people filling out your contact form. So the input is so that they can put their own information. The display name is just that sample text that's going to show up kind of gray. So you can change that to whatever you want. Just make sure that you don't delete the input box. Okay, and then under that you have name box, which is just the background box. As you keep going, they go in order, so you've got your inputs and whatnot. And when you click an input, over on the right in click actions, in text properties, here are the contact form options. So enable input, enables the input. That's what lets people type in there. For the email section, it has to be checked in reply to make sure that when you reply to the email, that is where it goes. The label is for you, so when people submit this contact form, the label is gonna show up in your email, so like you know which question they were answering. So if you click any of them, they all have labels, so you can just make them the same as like these headings, but up to you. So to edit your contact form, first thing I'm going to do is click this background, and I'm going to go to Canvas and actually make this bigger. So if you want to make your canvases bigger or smaller, it would be here in initial height. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to move this down. You can click and drag or hold the arrows or whatever. And then I'm just going to copy and paste one of the other questions. All right? So the reason I'm copying and pasting them is just because that makes it easier to, like, you know, you don't have to add all these things. You can just have them already there, and you just go in and edit the text for each one. All right, so do that as many times as you need to, delete questions, add questions, etc. And then when you're done, they're probably not going to be perfectly spaced out. So what you can do is select all of the headings and click distribute vertically, and also align left, and that will distribute them. And then do the same thing with the inputs. So select all of them, distribute vertically, align left, and then select the background boxes. Distribute vertically and align left. Okay, and that way everything is nice and even and lined up. If you use Honeybook or Dubsado or a CRM or a contact form somewhere else, whatever, you can add that here. So you would just select all of this and delete it, and go down here and hover over this square thing and click embed code, and then you'll get this gray box. You can double click it, or you can go over on the right to embed info and paste your code in there. So if you're on Honeybook, for example, you like publish your contact form and then it gives you the code and you just paste that in there. It's going to be a little bit different for whatever you're using, but they should all give you an HTML code that you just paste in here, and after you do that, it will show up right there. Okay, and you do have a second canvas view here. It is just a thank you. So I'm going to undo what I just did and bring my contact form back. Here, the submit button, if you do go to click actions, the link, it links to Canvas View 2, which is that thank you page. So when people click it, it shows them that thank you. But more importantly, it also has submit contact form checked right here so that it actually gets submitted. So when people do that, it's going to go to your email and you can respond from there. All right, so that is it. Under there is another on the blog section, so just it works the same way as the one on the homepage does. And that's pretty much it. To save your work, always make sure you publish. You can also preview here, and yeah, all right, so that's it for this tutorial. Remember, I'm going to link the more in-depth show it ones under this video, so if you need those, feel free to check them out.